going to focus today. I'm going to focus today on opportunities for faculty, artists, researchers, and professionals. I noticed there's a lot of administrators in our registration list, which is awesome. There are opportunities for you as well. Many of our awards are open to you, but there's also these seminar awards that are group seminars for administrators. So if that's something that interests you, you're welcome to reach out to me about that as well. I won't be focusing on that as much. I'll be focusing more on our scholar awards. Like I said, you've probably heard of the Fulbright program before, but I always like to start with this history because it really explains a lot of the things that I'll be talking about and a lot of what I think Zazila is going to talk about too. So the Fulbright program was established in 1946 by Congress to be the United States government's flagship international educational and cultural exchange program. Because the program is sponsored directly by the US Department of State, it's a little bit different than some of the other grants and opportunities that might be available to you. It supports study for students, teaching, research, and professional projects for the population I'm going to talk about today. But although it's great to fund these things just as a matter of course, the reason that the State Department funds these is because they believe that by doing what you do and physically being abroad, you will be serving as a citizen diplomat, or what we call a cultural ambassador. Just by being there, you will foster mutual understanding and advance knowledge around the globe and be exposed to all sorts of new professional and academic opportunities. The awards that I'm talking about today are open to US citizens. I know that this group has people of different citizenship in the membership, which is awesome. You're welcome to reach out to me about opportunities for those who want to come to the US as well, and I will direct you as best I can, but that will be managed out of the country of yours. There's a little bit of an echo. If I can ask to make sure everybody mutes themselves. Okay. Okay. But that would be managed by the country of your citizenship. So I'm happy to help with that. You can email me about that as well. But the awards I'm talking about today are for US citizens. Unfortunately, they're not open to permanent residents, but I always tell permanent residents, keep us in mind if your status changes. The awards are variable by degree and experience. If you have a PhD or a terminal degree, the world is your oyster. You can do almost all of our 402 awards. If you have a master's in higher education teaching experience or commensurate professional experience, about half of our awards are going to be open to you. And when we're looking for professionals and artists, we just like to see substantive accomplishments in your field. If you're going to be teaching, we just want to see some record of teaching experience, and that can be any structured pedagogical experience that you've done. There's also no lifetime limit on Fulbright awards, and you can even do them after you retire. We just have you wait 2 years between your last day abroad and one of our September due dates. So please keep this in mind for all stages of your career. I'm going to highlight some specific awards on the next slide, but if you're welcome to browse while I'm talking. I know everybody multitasks in 2024, but you can see all 403 of our awards on fulbrightscholars.org/awards/search. These are at all different levels. They provide for different activities, which is teaching, research, and professional projects, which is it's more of a consultancy role or focused on a specific deliverable. But I'm happy to answer your questions about those if you have those questions. You can only apply to one award per year or per cycle, so it is in my interest and yours to direct you to the most specific award that will meet your needs. So let's talk about some of these specific awards for the audience today. It's actually great that we're doing this now because this is one of the only times in the cycle where I'm allowed to reveal which awards are hidden gems in our portfolio. Because of that US Department of State sponsorship, the scholar program is diplomatic in nature, so I cannot discuss competitiveness of awards versus each other, except at this point in our cycle. So these are some awards that I want to draw to your attention. If you don't see your discipline listed, that doesn't mean we don't have an award for you. That just means in the time that we have, I wanted to focus on these awards. So for Canada, Canada has a really great structure to their program where each one of these awards has a specific placement associated with it. That has the benefit of you not having to find your own contact. There's contacts all on the awards, and you could get that conversation started as soon as we hang up today. You could start emailing them about, hey, I'm interested in your placement underneath policy, law, and governance. Canada also has a really unique policy where if you apply for one award and you're not their first choice for that award, they can offer you a different award. It's a really, really great flexible program, and I really enjoy working with them. So just as we go through, keep in mind there are specific institutions associated with these Canadian awards, and they're happy to talk to you and happy to help you find the ideal placement. So I wanted to talk about some awards that I think are especially relevant to this group and those that have been invited to this webinar today. So the first award is Research Chairs in Policy, Law, and Governance. Canada calls their awards Research Chairs because there's a position at different universities or entities under each one of the awards. So there's two placements on this award that are focused on international affairs. There's one on housing security, one on human rights, and one on Indigenous rights in society. So this is a more policy-focused award, but it's not just for policy people. It is for other disciplines that are around policy as well. North American Studies might be perhaps the most appropriate award that I could share with you guys today, and it is a Hidden Gem Award. This award is focused on transnational studies, Canada-US relations, and there's even a placement that allows you to do any discipline so long as it is a comparative approach between Canada and the US. And there's also a unique award in all the world, which is on anti-racism and BIPOC communities. I also want to talk about our Food Studies Award. It is mostly focused on sciences, but there is an opportunity in what we call environmental studies, which is a more social sciences or humanist view of food issues, which are becoming much more important in the world today. Then the last award is a joint award with the Pierre Elliott Trudeau Foundation. And this is a really unique opportunity because you're associated with two institutions in Montreal. And you get to do some policy work, but you also get to help teach the policymakers of tomorrow mostly from Canada, but I think they come from the US as well. So we had an alum talk about this in our Canada webinar, and my eyes were open to just how broad of a reach this award has. So then I also would like to talk about some awards in Mexico. There are other awards in Mexico. There's a science and technology one and a social sciences and humanities one, but they're not hidden gems. So I wanted to focus on the hidden gems today. We did our first annual webinar with Mexico. And again, if you want to see that webinar, email me. I'll give you my email at the end. And they are really, really dedicated also to finding really fruitful placements for people. And I think we'll hear from Zadila about about where she went for her postdoctoral scholar award. That postdoctoral scholar award is a hidden gem. I'm kind of surprised by that because it is so flexible. You can go anywhere in Mexico. You can work on any discipline. And that award is limited to those within 5 years of earning a doctoral degree. So this is a very specific award. And if you or someone you know is nervous about applying to Fulbright, this is a very small possible applicant pool. You're kind of like safe because you're only with people that have those specific qualifications. There's also an award that's on US studies, and this is one of the only awards in Mexico that doesn't have a language requirement. I know that might not be an issue for this group, but what's interesting about that is they're specifically looking for people at a few different universities to teach US history, politics, and related subjects in order to build binational politics with the students of today. So it's a really exciting opportunity, and we had an alum talk about that one in our webinar as well. If these awards interest you, I just want to briefly talk about our competition cycle. We open in February, and our deadline is September 16th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you still have plenty of time to create a good proposal. A lot of people don't begin until now. Ask me how I know because of the emails that I get. So you have the advantage of hearing about the Hidden Gem Awards and knowing that you could be applying for a Hidden Gem and have like 2 months to do it. I also want to talk about our review process. If you look at that October-November bubble, that is a specialist layer of review. So whatever discipline you propose, There will be specialists. We have 70 top-level disciplines to choose from, and that translates to 120 specialized peer review committees. Then you can either be not recommended, which means your Fulbright journey is over for now, but we're always happy to help you reapply, or recommended, which means your application has passed to Canada or Mexico and the Fulbright Foreign Scholarship Board for approval. We give our countries a long time between January and June and a lot of latitude to do that selection. So I always recommend making sure your application works on a specialist level, but also on a level that it would be intelligible to someone who doesn't know your discipline, just in case it's country staff that are reviewing your application. And from June onward, you would know and you'd be able to prepare for departure. Also of note, we're recruiting for fall 25 and spring 26 right now, and every year it works that same way. So next year we'll be recruiting for fall 26, spring 27, and so on. As I mentioned a few times, you are welcome to get in touch with me. My name is Julia at WestHem, which is short for Western Hemisphere, at IIE.org. All of our resources and awards live on FulbrightScholars.org. And if you know someone else today, especially for our administrators on the call, who you think would make a great Fulbrighter, we have a form on our website that sends a really nice letter saying that someone thinks that you'd make a great Fulbrighter. So please don't hesitate to refer people. I also run that program, so I'm the one that they get a phone call with, and we can discuss great opportunities for them. We're also on all forms of social media, and I recommend following us on your favorite ones so you can get ideas of what alums have done. But you're going to hear from a very special alum today, so that can be your start with that. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Julia. I guess what we can do is proceed on with Zazila. Hopefully our technical issues have been resolved. Zazila, are you still online?
Yes, I am here. You know,
okay.
internet.
It's great to have you here, Zazila. We miss you at the office. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Julia, and Jess, for this invitation. I am so excited to have the opportunity to share my experience as a Fulbrighter, as a Fulbright postdoctoral researcher in Simba in Mexico City. I was there with Dr. Alma Maldonado. Technically, I just finished. And I have some pictures that I want to share with you. As we said in Mexico, una imagen vale más que mil palabras. So I have something prepared here. Okay, let's see. My computer is not working very well lately, but okay. Thanks everyone who is in the other side of the computer too. You know, the attendees, people from different cities and probably from different countries. Thanks for being here this morning. So can you see that the presentation slide?
Now I can.
Oh.
Now we can see it.
Okay. I think it's slow here. The internet, yeah.
Now, okay. Yes, we can see.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. So I just finished the PhD last August. And when I was completing the PhD, a nice Fulbrighter, shared the opportunity, you know, she told me about these programs and about the possibility to have funding to conduct postdoctoral research. So I was in the webpage, in the Fulbright COMEXUS webpage, and I found the possibility, the sub-program that is called, like my t-shirt, the Fulbright COMEXUS Commission Postdoctoral, Garcia Robles Postdoctoral funding. So I wanted to expand my doctoral research. My interest is the migration of female Mexicans who were born and raised in Mexico, who went to college in Mexico, and later, eventually, they emigrated to the United States. So Fulbright COMEXUS provided me the opportunity to conduct this research, to come to the CIMBESTAP, to work with scholars in Mexico City, and to have all this experience that I will share with you. So the next picture, hopefully you can see it. So I arrived here. The postdoctoral research, the program was for 9 months. As you can see, this is the CIMBESTAP, the Sede Sur. There are different locations. So this is the CIMBESTAP Sede Sur, where is the Department of Research on Education and Aging, and something about medicine, something like that. But there are different locations of it. So this is my first picture in CIMBESTAP. Was in Dia de Muertos. Was a nice experience. You know, it's where I met the community in CIMBESTAP. And then Alma Maldonado, who is in the picture, she told me like, okay, you need to write. Welcome to Mexico. You need to write like right now. And she supported me to publish my work, my doctoral research in Nexus. Then I had some professional connections because conferences here in Mexico, and Universidad Veracruzana was very supportive with me. And as you can see, I had a meeting with them, and I had a talk with students, with personnel, faculty members, researchers, working at the Center for Students, from the United States, something like that. Also, Veracruz was very supportive and helped me to publish in La Jornada Veracruz. That is a very prestigious newspaper and magazine in Mexico. What I am talking about that, I highlight this because what's key, the professional network that you nurture before arriving to the country. So if someone wants to apply for a scholarship, would be a great idea that you start making this kind of connections before arriving, because it helps a lot. So I want to talk about the RTP, or the Regional Travel Program, that allow me to travel to El Cono Sur. Someone wants to entrance here. As you can see in the picture, I don't know if you are able to see it. I was in Peru, and they were very nice. I was visiting a university there to talk with the students, international relations department, faculty members and students. And I brought me my cajón peruano. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So that is the instrument that I brought from Peru, my souvenir, and was a dream that long time I was, planning, and was a high satisfaction to be there. Some issues with flying. You need to get ready to face this kind of issues too, like cancellations and like stress, traveling. But okay, eventually we had that meeting. RTP. When I arrived here in Mexico City, the Fulbright Garcia Robles staff here in Mexico, they provided, we had a welcome orientation. And in that orientation, I was informed that I could apply to the Regional Travel Program. This is funding for traveling, to share, to spread, to do science dissemination. So this is the organized funding by the Commission of Fulbright Uruguay. So it's amazing how you see the connection between different countries regarding to Fulbright. So as you can see in the picture, I was with the students. This beautiful picture is from the university in Chile, USACH. And then I crossed to Argentina also with the funding from the RTP support. And we had meetings with what would be here in the United States would be the National Science Foundation. In Mexico would be CONAHEC, and was CONICET. So we had meetings there, and I was talking with PhD students at Flaxo, Argentina, and ICSALT. They wanted to, we had an interview. They published the interview results, and also we had a video that is in Instagram because they are looking, to be in social media. That was a great experience too. And lately, being in Mexico, I think it's important to share with you that was a great opportunity to have connections. My research area is the migration from Mexico. So being in Mexico was key too, was crucial. And I was very lucky. I found online that the Migration Conference 2024, that last year was in Germany, could be here in Iberos, Ciudad de Mexico, in Mexico City. So I applied and I worked on my paper. I presented last Thursday. I was in Iberos CERMEX, as you can see, and I had the opportunity to nurture more connections, and that was, I think, was a great way to close this experience. And this is what I want to share with you. I wonder, I love questions. I had a lot of information. I wanted to show pictures, and I am waiting for, your comments and questions here. I hope we can stay connected and you can read the QR code here. Thank you.
Thank you both. We have a couple of questions in the chat. I could read the questions and then feel free to answer, like Cecile or Julia, any of you can answer, of course.
I was a little too eager and answered Jay's question already, but feel free to ask it and then I'll answer it out loud.
Oh, yes, Cecilia's been answering it already. So Jay Albanese already mentioned something about contacting institutions, as Sean already addressed that, but I'm gonna read the question in case people didn't read it. It says that it seems that most all Fulbright opportunities require an invitation from a host institution. So unless you have some personal contact there, it appears an applicant is shooting in the dark for an invitation from someone who does not know them.
So all the awards that I featured, part of why I'm featuring them now, because we have 2 months, is because there's a contact already there. So those Canada awards that I showed, and we are going to share the slides after the fact, but they all have a contact ready to go on them. Usually the contact is someone at the international office because they have been warned to know that people will be emailing them about Fulbright, so they're expecting your message. And then they can make an introduction to you to like a specific scholar who can help you make a direct collaboration when you're abroad. And then I see that Sean was saying you can also leverage the CONAHEC network.
Yes, we'll be glad to help in any way that we can. Also, we do have a pretty extensive network of contacts. Many of our contacts are at international offices also, but we have people who can help us find scholars at various institutions all over North America and in other countries at that point as well. So I did put our email address in the chat there, so feel free to reach out by email, or our contact information is available on conahec.org as well, so you can get a hold of us.
If you don't mind, I wanted to ask, Zazila, how did you find your host? It sounds like you talked to someone who had done the Fulbright before, but how did you find your host? Because this person's concerned about reaching out to someone potentially for the first time.
Yeah, I think it's a very important question because part of the application is to get recommendation letters that you need to, to have to nurture your network. One more time, I say that. Was a recommendation of my doctoral advisor. This is very important. People are, are connected, and you don't know, that this person could know someone in a different country. So this is how I connected to people in CONOSUR, by the way. because everything started, by the way, Sean, remember that we went to Universidad in Chiapas, Autónoma de Chiapas. So we had a dinner, unpaid dinner, and I met someone next to me, you know, we had a dinner, and this person was the connection with everyone. I visited I think 8 institutions. I talked to migration directors, and I was in researcher centers, and this person was who connected and introduced me to everyone. So nurture your professional network and don't be afraid to email people.
Yeah.
Most people are very nice. They are going to answer. So not everybody answers because they could be busy, okay? Yeah, and don't take it personal, but try. So it's a good beginning when you email, you know, the person asking, and if someone needs something to I am going to write my email, by the way, in the chat. Thank you.
Another thing is people will find people at conferences all the time. It's like anything that you go to. It's like it's a very different organization, but I was at the American Chemical Society conference, and one of our alums told me like, oh, I met my host here. Like you just go to your conferences normally, listen to people talk, and if someone comes from another country, see if they're interested in hosting you. And if there's an award in our catalog that would match up with it.
Thank you both. Thank you everyone for replying. I'll read Marcela's question. Her question has to do with employment. Does participating in the Fulbright program impact our U.S. employment? If so, in what ways?
It's a great question. So this is one of the reasons why if you're thinking of applying and you're employed somewhere, start talking to your department or your institution as soon as you know that you're applying. This way they can think about like, okay, if this person is going to be abroad in fall 25, how do we make that work for our budget? How do we find teaching replacement? And sometimes even if you initiate that conversation early, you can even get things like, we pay you a stipend, but it might not be what you're used to from your typical salary. And they might even be able to find room in their budget to keep paying you on top of our stipend so that you're making the kind of money that you're used to. That said, when you're doing your teaching, research, or professional projects abroad, we do, because of that cultural ambassadorship piece, we do want you to be focused on that. So we understand that like if you have a lab or you have like you're part of a unit, you will still be doing some of the administrative tasks, and that's fine. But we just don't really want you to be like teaching remotely at home while you're doing the Fulbright, because then you're not able to, unfortunately, focus quite as much on the activities that you would be doing as a Fulbright. I see someone said something about University of Arizona's prestigious leave policy, and that is great. We also have, I'll reply with a link, but if you're at a US institution, there's probably a scholar liaison at your institution. These are people who volunteer to help kind of like compile leave and support policies and can help you find ways to take leave, find ways to get teaching replacement, because these are prestigious awards. It's good for your home institution to have someone who's done this. Oh, and we have the liaison. I actually have met Danielle, so thank you so much.
Thank you. There is another question. It says, what kind of research funding is available for traveling to conferences while doing the Garcia Robles postdoc?
So Zalila actually talked about it. There's a program that's available after you're selected that is called the Western Hemisphere Regional Travel Program. So she had it as RTP on her slides. I don't recommend that people like write in their application that that's like a huge part of why they're applying, because we want to focus on the country that's hosting you, but know that that is available. And that is administered by whichever country that you land in. They would administer that and you apply after the fact. But then I definitely want to defer to Yazila to talk about how you use the regional travel program and how did you like apply for it?
That is a great opportunity. people were amazing. Okay, everything started, I arrived in September, and then I had October for, adaptation and this kind of things. And I started in November planning my trip to have
Wow.
this, yeah, was a long time, yeah, because you need to work a lot on connections and to set in the dates, the calendar. I was ready for this question. I have my agenda here, so I am going to show you. I was written with pencil because I had to erase it and later to erase. I talked to someone and we had to work on from May 11 to, let me see, May 22, 22nd, I had to be in CONAHEC. By the way, the idea was to visit one country, but they were very nice. So I asked if I could cross, to Argentina, and they allowed me to do it. So they paid the flights, transportation for that trip. That was like 1,000, like almost $1,200. So it's a very good opportunity. Just you need to plan it, with enough time. So I started in November making calls and calls, emailing, all these things that I am telling you. And in April, I was ready to go. And you need to get your ticket with, with time enough to get a good price and all these things. And you need to make a detailed agenda. What you plan to do and why you need. In my case, I visited. Yeah, I visited. For example, the first day was marathonic. First day was 9 a.m. I had a breakfast with the migration director in the region of the El Maule. Then I went to visit a research center, el Centro de Observatorio Laboral del Maule in Chile, with Arma Carrasco. I didn't know these people. I didn't know before this travel. So this is why I'm telling you, you need to write a lot of emails. Then at 11, I had another meeting. Later, I had some food. Later, I took an Uber and I had a meeting with el Centro de Estudios para la Inclusión Intercultural con la doctora Miriam Díaz and with staff researchers. Okay, we finished like 5 p.m. And then I had to travel to another city because the next day I had meetings like that with University 1, University 2. So I had like 2 meetings per day. And in my agenda, I include one day in the middle of the week to have just one meeting in the morning and to have the rest of the day free. So my point is like it's a good funding. They are very nice. It's not like hard to apply. Of course, there are paperwork and you need to keep your the evidence that you paid in dollars, by the way, in my case. In dollars, the flight tickets, and you have the reimbursement. I don't know if that answered the question.
Cecile, your audio is a bit choppy, but we do have another question for you. So we'll see. I still could understand most of what you said, but just to let you know. Okay. So, question for Cecile: How extensive was your study? What type of data collection did you do, and how much time did it take you to collect it? And how many participants do you have? And were you disseminating only one study during this postdoc?
Yeah. Okay, the idea was to extend my doctoral research and was a very short time for a postdoctoral staying was 9 months. So what I learned that I should start, making the connection before arriving to the country. But it was great. I was having interviews. Was a kind of tiring, exhausting, but was a great opportunity, a great experience. So my plan was to visit the families, relatives of women who already are immigrants in the United States. So I had interviews with relatives here in Mexico in different points of the country. So I visited the north, the center, occidente. I was in Guadalajara, I was in Tepic, I was in Sinaloa and Sonora, the border with Arizona, was in Veracruz, Mexico City. I had participants from Mexico City. So I collected like 26 interviews, open-ended interviews. And the plan in the proposal was to have around 21 and to publish an article with Dr. Alma Maldonado. As you can see my peak here. So we are promoting the collaboration, binational collaboration. And the idea also was to have something, a work with two women in different countries. So really, I am very highly satisfied with the experience. It was exhausting. It was. I recommend you take vitamins before starting the experience, the research abroad. But what is the next question? Sorry, I am reading. So yeah, so it was great opportunity. I was doing open-ended interviews in different states in Mexico with relatives of the women who already are living in the United States. Thank you.
So I wanted to share, there's no defined deliverable for Fulbright. It is up to you to decide what is going to be feasible in the amount of time and what is going to be good for the international collaboration aspect. So this was a very ambitious study, and I'm really glad to hear that you were able to do all of that. The postdoctoral awards are a little longer, so you're able to do more of that. But don't worry, we don't even ask you for like a citation or something that you've published. We just want to know, like, it could be, you know, people will use it to, like my PhD advisor used it to start her second book. So just to kind of do the prep work for that. So you just tell us what is feasible for you, useful for you, and what is how is that going to be impact the sort of binational collaboration and the spirit of cultural ambassadorship in general.
There are a couple more questions. I feel they are related, but one is for Cecile and one is for Julia. So the one for Cecile asks, what inspired you to take this opportunity to go abroad? And the one for Julia says, can you talk about the application? How long is it? And what do you recommend an applicant to consider?
Okay, I will take the first question. Okay, personally, yeah, personally, I wanted, to accomplish this academic goal of going deeper in my research, and also coming to Mexico was totally logical because my research area is the migration of Mexicans. So thanks to the opportunity, to the Fulbright Master's opportunity, I achieved this dream, because it makes totally sense if your area of research is the migration from Mexico, you should go to Mexico. And also, I was born in Mexico. I was raised in Mexico, so I wanted to contribute and to establish collaborations, to work with people, to researchers, to academics living in Mexico, because I think, and I think I found that they know, how this works. Since the perspective of being in Mexico, that is different than being in the border or in Arizona. So I don't regret. Was totally was perfect. Was a perfect opportunity to accomplish my dream. Thank you.
So for the question from me, I'm going to share something on our website because it is literally my and my colleagues' job to make this application process as easy and clear for you as possible. I think it makes us unique among funding agencies that there are real humans behind every single award. So on our website, which is fulbrightscholars.org, by the way, make sure you're on fulbrightscholars.org because there are opportunities for students, but they're on a different website. So I don't want you to get confused and then be like, wait, I can't do this. I'm not looking to do studies. So on this website, you can go to apply, application steps, and then we have guides for every single component. I always recommend people do like a 2-window approach, like they have this open like while they're working on their application. So we try to like demystify it for you. The project statement is the main part. It's a 3 to 5 page document, and we have prompt questions for you. Especially the most important one, I think people are not used to writing about on a broader scale about like, why would this project be good for Mexico, for the United States? It's a very daunting question, but we break it down for you to make it as easy as we can. So like we think about like, what's the state of your field in Mexico and how would your intervention at this time be a particularly fruitful, useful intervention? And like Cecilia said, like, how would you build a network by being abroad at this time? So the application, I would say you absolutely have enough time to write a very good one at this stage. You would be shocked at how many people submit at the last minute. That's why I always say it's due at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I always get questions about that. But you have plenty of time. And again, the awards that I shared with you, most of them have a contact already on them, and you have the ability to leverage the CONAHEC network to make things go a little bit faster. So yeah, and what do I recommend an applicant considers? It's really those questions on the application steps. I will put that link in the chat. It's sort of just thinking more broadly, like not about just what you want to do, but what the impact of it will be, which is a kind of a new exercise for a lot of academics, but it is a really worthwhile one, and I think it helps you to grow professionally as well.
May I say something?
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. That I think okay. 2 recommendations. I have a lot of recommendations, but one is like you need to do your research before applying. You need to read a lot about the different opportunities, because at the beginning I didn't know which one was the best choice for me. I didn't know, and also you had opportunity in my situation to go to a different countries. So you need to read careful what a program works better for you and what are you looking for, achieving this. And also that do it with enough time, like I think like 1 year at least, because time flies and you need to work a lot in the it's not hard like what they expect from you, like Julia said. It's more about paperwork, if you are contacting your host institution, you are not going to get probably the letter today. So you need to wait some days. And if you need another thing from another person or advice, you need to wait. So time flies. And also my recommendation number 1 in my experience is that the best thing is to talk with other Fulbrighters. Doesn't matter if it's in the same program that you want to apply for, but you need to hear the experience of this person in, what is the mission of Fulbright, what they are looking for, if what is the expectation, And also I want to share like quick. I found the proposal statement in my application. So just I am going to show you fast, so you have an idea, a visual idea about what you need to write. You need to write your great ideas. So don't be afraid to apply. This is my proposal statement. I don't know if I am sharing.
We don't see it yet, but this is extremely generous of you, by the way. I did put in the chat, there's a stellar directory.
Okay, so I don't know, you can see it. Could you tell me if
I can't at least.
okay
Oh, now I can. Okay.
I can see it.
Okay, so you need a title, for your amazing idea project. And so they ask you, things. For example, what do I propose to do? And you need to answer. So I wanna show you. I found this at midnight last night. Okay, later how you what is your plan, you know, how you are going to make this to make this possible. And I include a cute map here, you know, and I illustrated what states I planned to visit. And you can see there is a proposed timing that is very flexible, but you know, you have an idea that you want what you are going to do when you arrive to the country. Study is significant. Why is this project important? So you answer, and you need to ask people to read this, to be sure that you are saying whatever you want to say, you know, like you are communicating your idea, the benefits. So you can see here the bullets and tangible outcomes, you know, co-authoring a journal article and science dissemination. And this is what I have been doing. That's it. So we are talking about, in this case, 5 pages. Yeah, 4 pages. That's it. So
And
I
I think
hope you got an idea. Sorry.
I think what's important about what she showed is that it's specific and it's feasible in the amount of time. I do think when you said you worked a year in advance and all that, I think that's overachieving and that's amazing. I'm glad you did it. But as long as there's like a feasible goal, because a lot of our scholar awards are only 3 months long, the postdoctoral award is 9 months to 12 months sometimes long, which is great, which is an excellent amount of time at that early stage of your career. But yeah, just don't, you know, you could, again, like I said, 2 months is definitely enough time. Think about what you want to achieve out of it, make sure it's feasible, make sure it's impactful, and you will have a good time.
Great. Thank you all for answering questions, sharing your experience, giving information. We are almost at the end of our talk, so if you have any more questions, remaining doubts, you can ask them now. While you're thinking about this, I just want to let you know that we'll be sharing the slides to those who attended today, so that you have more information, the links. We can also share the chat, because there are a bunch of links in the chat, which are possibly in the slides as well. And I'm just gonna let you know.
I actually have one more thing. I think this might be a question for Sean, but we invited people who are not part of CONAHEC to this webinar, and I'm curious about how can they get involved? What are the benefits that you offer besides an amazing network of people? Just like a short, I don't know, a short explanation for them.
Absolutely. So that is, of course, something that I'm glad to share. CONAHEC is a nonprofit organization. We are a membership-based organization. So institutions can join CONAHEC and be members. The annual membership fee is $1,800 US. So it's not terribly expensive for an institution in most cases. And of course, we can look at that with you if that's problematic as well. But we do rely on membership income to be able to function. So we encourage you to join. And as a member of CONAHEC, you have access to a number of different programs that we offer. The primary program, the one that's most active in many respects, is our International Student Exchange Program. That's a semester-based program, so students can apply in one semester to go the following semester for up to 2 semesters to another CONAHEC member institution in another country. So that's an international student exchange, and that involves tuition reciprocity. So students pay tuition at their home institution and don't have to pay international student tuition, which is a big difference in many cases. So that's the idea of that is precisely to encourage mobility, particularly for students who would otherwise not be able to afford to go. And so that's basically the design of the program, is to do that. Many of our members in the United States and Canada who offer exchange placements benefit from the fact that some students return on scholarship for their graduate studies and other kinds of continued engagement on a Fulbright. Students can go out of the United States and go to other member institutions as well. So creating those connections is a good way to be able to have sort of an institutional connection that you can contact in the event you have a student interested in going. And through our network, we also can provide contacts from our side for particular academic areas and that kind of thing. And so we also have mobility programs for faculty and staff that we offer. And so if those become of interest, we'd be happy to respond to questions about those. Also, I mentioned at the beginning that we're organizing our conference, but there's a different group of people now online, so I'll mention it again. We have our 22nd North American Higher Education Conference will be in Ensenada, Baja California, October 23rd to the 25th. So we invite you all to come. It's not just members. It's we do have a strong group of members that will attend, but we invite everybody to come. We have an open call for proposals that can be reached through our website at CONAHEC.org. At the top, there's a link to the conference website and a drop down, and then there's a call for proposals page there. So if you want to present and talk about your activities, engagement, interests with international partners, we'd love to have you there. So please submit a proposal, and we'll be reviewing them soon. So I encourage you to come to the conference. That's a great place to network and meet everybody in the network and make the kinds of contacts in person that really help to make international engagement possible. Thanks for the intro there, Julia. I should have done that at the beginning. But
that's okay. I just noticed, I knew there were some people I corresponded with about this, but I thought it was a great showcase for, to go in both directions, people from CONAHEC hearing about Fulbright and the people interested in Fulbright hearing about your organization.
Wonderful. And we can be reached at membership@conahec.org with any questions or any requests. So please do reach out if we can be helpful. And the email is in the chat, and we'll be sharing the chat with everybody. So
yes, I also shared the link to our webpage where you can find information about the organization and also about the conference. And that is it, everybody. Oh, we're right on time to finish. I hope this was helpful. This was informative. You have contact for all of our speakers and our contact as well. Please stay in touch. Would love to see you in October at our conference, and hopefully some, if not all of you, will apply to a Fulbright program, or at least learn more about this so that you can share this with anyone who may be interested. I will get in touch with you later today to share the slides, so you will receive an email from CONAHEC, so stay tuned.
Yes, thank you all for coming. Thanks, Julia and Cecilia, for your information and sharing. And we hope to see you all in October.